Hey there! Welcome to Jackie Talks Horror. I'm Jackie, and today I'm giving a rundown of 5 horror films hitting cinemas in March and April 2026. As always, I'll be using images and trailers from the films, and we'll put links to the trailers and any articles I use in the description down below. So first up, we have The Bride, hitting cinemas on the 6th of March 2026. This is Maggie Gyllenhaal's reimagining of The Bride of Frankenstein from 1935, which is widely considered to be one of the best horror sequels ever. After the psychological intensity of a film, The Lost Daughter, it will be fascinating to see Gyllenhaal bring that same carrot focus into gothic horror. This time, The Bride is set in 1930s Chicago, and Frankenstein's creation, played by Christian Bale, asked Dr. Euphronius, played by Annette Bening, to create a companion, played by Jessie Buckley, for him. From what I can see from the interviews, one major difference from the 1935 film is that this will be far more centred on the bride's point of view, whereas in the original, she was more as part of Frankenstein's creation story, and this time they're reanimating a murdered woman to create her, and it seems like it will be a dark, character-driven gothic drama with horror at its core. I'm particularly excited about this due to the amazing cast lineup. From the teaser trailer, Christian Bale looks great and seems completely committed to his character, and Jessie Buckley has some enormous shoes to fill. Elsa Lanchester's portrayal of the bride is iconic, but the teaser trailer makes it clear that she isn't trying to copy and will hopefully bring her own iconic version for us to enjoy. And after being treated to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein in 2025, this feels like a very timely return to classic gothic horror, even though the two films aren't connected. So next up, and hitting cinemas on the 13th of March 2026, is The Undertone. It's written and directed by Ian Toyson, marking his feature film directorial debut, after previously working primarily on short films, and it had its world premiere at Fantasia in July 2025, where it won the Golden Audience Award for Canadian films. And shortly after, A24 secured worldwide distribution rights in a competitive bidding situation, a notable result for a debut horror feature. The Undertone follows Evie, played by Nina Curry, the host of a popular paranormal podcast, who moves into her mother's house to look after her. She soon finds herself relentlessly haunted by a series of terrifying, mysterious recordings sent directly to her. Evie plays a skeptic to her podcast believer co-host, Justin, played by Chris Holden-Reed. From the teaser trailer, it looks like we follow Evie closely, and the soundtrack definitely seems designed to make you feel anxious. From early reviews, that's carried through in the film. And yikes, I know when I was watching the trailer, I thought it was certainly startling, and that was only on a 50-second teaser trailer. And the trailer that dropped recently was just as haunting. The trailer also highlights lots of tight dramatic shots of the two, and their equipment, and the tapes that are sent to them, which makes for a claustrophobic, creepy atmosphere. Overall, this seems like it's going to be a slow burn psychological horror that won't let you look away once it starts. And I'm particularly drawn to it, as it will be interesting to watch a sound-driven horror where audio itself becomes a weapon, so I can't wait to see it. Okay, so next up is Hunting Matthew Nichols, hitting the cinemas on the 27th of March 2026. Directed by Markian Tarusyuk, who is better known as an actor, Hunting Matthew Nichols marks his feature-length directorial debut, making him the second first-time director on this list. The premise here is fairly simple. 23 years after her brother vanished, a filmmaker, Tara Nichols, played by Miranda McDougall, investigates his disappearance. As she uncovers evidence, she suspects he may still be alive, fueling her determination to uncover the truth. The film is shot in found footage mockumentary style, and, based on the teaser trailer, it immediately reminded me of Lake Mungo, which is a film I really enjoyed. That comparison alone has definitely meant it caught my attention. Hunting Matthew Nichols has already screened at multiple genre and horror festivals worldwide from late 2024 through to late 2025, and now it's getting its wider cinematic release. Early reactions have been particularly positive about McDougal's performance. A number of reviews suggest that she really sells the part of a woman looking for her brother, showing great emotion and breaking down when she hits dead ends and walls, but never giving up fighting and trying to find him. Other festival reactions describe it as an immersive, slow-build found footage mystery with a sense of tension and documentary realism. I'm definitely on board with this one, as I love found footage, so it's definitely on my must-see list. Okay, so next up, and widely anticipated by most horror fans, is Ready or Not, Here I Come, hitting cinemas on the 10th of April. It's the much anticipated follow-up to the hugely successful Ready or Not from 2019. We have the return of the creative team that wrote and directed the original, Matt Battistini-Olphin and Tyler Gillett directing, with Gary Busick and R. Christopher Murphy back on writing duties. Samara Weaving also returns as Grace, the role that helps cement her status as a modern scream queen, and a horror fan favourite. The story is set to continue moments from the aftermath of the first film, expanding the world of Ready or Not and pushing Grace into an even more dangerous situation. However, this time she has a sister Faith, played by Catherine Newton, to help her, whilst they outrun four rival families for the throne. And, as always, winner takes all. Not only is Samara Weaving back, but Elijah Wood, Kevin Durant and Sarah Michelle Gellar have been added to the cast list to give it extra star power. Not that Weaving isn't a draw enough. And the king of body horror himself, David Cronenberg, is also down to make an appearance. Horror outlets have also noted that the official trailer broke records for Searchlight Pictures, and the creative team have expressed real confidence in the script, describing it as a banger. With the Radio Silence team back at the helm and Samara Weaving returning, this action-heavy dark comedy horror sequel is shaping up to be a strong follow-up. Now, I've enjoyed most of what this creative team has done so far, and their blend of horror and humour really works for me, so this is definitely one that's going to be on my must-watch list. And finally on this list, hitting cinemas on the 17th of April, is The Mummy. The Mummy is written and directed by Lee Cronin, who also wrote and directed the hugely successful Evil Dead Rise from 2023. The film follows a family whose young daughter disappears into the desert without a trace. 8 years later, the family is left reeling when she suddenly returns, as what should be a joyful reunion quickly turns into a living nightmare. Most details are being kept under wraps to keep a sense of mystery, but the cast includes Jack Rayner, Leia Costa and Veronica Falcone. The film has widely been described as a fresh, horror-leaning take on The Mummy, distinct from the big action-adventure versions of the past, and we can expect a much darker, creepier approach. Speaking about the project, director Lee Cronin said, "This will be unlike any mummy movie you've ever laid eyeballs on. I'm digging deep into the earth to raise something very ancient and very frightening." So, add that quote to the fact that James Wan and Jason Blum have also praised Cronin's approach, and you have a recipe for a film that is going to be the top of my April movie list for sure. James Wan called Cronin a gifted filmmaker in the world of horror, whose storytelling has electrified audiences, while Jason Blum added, "He has an intriguing modern take on something quite ancient that I think audiences will love." Okay, so that's all for this video. That's my rundown of 5 horror films coming to cinemas in March and April 2026. Was your most anticipated on there? Did I miss one you're excited about? Do leave your comments down below, and remember, this is only my opinion of the films, and it would be a boring old world if we all like the same things. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss what's coming next on this channel. This is Jackie signing off, take care and see you next time.